Good evening and welcome to ATN Global News for today. To begin, let's take a look at the headlines. Analyst advises Fubara on political crisis. Church food distribution stampede kills many in FCT. Tinubu cancels official engagements to mourn stampede victims. Federal government inaugurates e-gates, CNG buses at airports. Taliban kills 6. Taliban kills 16 soldiers in midnight attack. Former Arsenal captain George Etzmam is death. Doris Oga wins Miss Nigeria 2024.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Analyst has criticized Governor Siminalayi Fubara for declaring himself winner over the political crisis in Rivers State. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, socio-political analyst Nze O. Nze said the political battle in Rivers State is still on. Therefore, Governor Fubara should not assume himself to have conquered the crisis.
You don't say that you have won. It is not over until it is over. Because there is a way you declare victory, your heart will be dampened, and the enemy will take advantage of it, of that. So I believe that the battle is still ongoing. The different from what the governor has said, the battle is still ongoing. Because when you look at some of the litigations in the court, they are still fighting. The other people have not, they have not relented in their hours, and they are still pushing on. So let the governor still get himself up, together with those who are fighting in the front line with him, and those of us who are fighting from the background will keep on hitting. Yes, we cannot lay our arms down until...
On his part, Chris Oka stressed that Governor Fubara can say he has conquered the political challenges in Rivers State after the 2027 elections.
As the candidate of the party, and from there he won to be the governor of Rivers State. So he does not understand politics. That's why he's making such a statement that he has won the fight. Because if you look at that he has conquered, if you look at the political crisis in Rivers State, the governor is even on the losing side. So how can somebody who is losing will come out to say
is on the losing side?
Let's look at the root cause of the crisis in the Rivers State. It is the control of their.
This is coming after the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara said he has conquered the political challenges confronting his administration and the state. High Court sitting in Akuku Ibo Oshimili North local government area of Delta State has sentenced one Obinna Eze to death for killing a 6-month-old boy, Chimobi Igwe. The court presided over by Justice Marcel Oko convicted and sentenced Eze to death by hanging after the defendant was arraigned before the court on a 3-count charge for attempted murder, murder and causing grievous bodily harm, punishable under sections 320, 319 and 335, respectively, of the Criminal Code Laws of Delta State. The prosecution was conducted by the State Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, Mr. Omamuzo Erebe, who led other counsel in the matter. Mrs. Blessing Igwe, the mother of the deceased baby, told the court that on the 27th October 2023, she had a disagreement over a missing phone belonging to the defendant, who was the co-tenant at Talitha Street off Ukpanam Road, Asaba, attacked her with a cutlass and inflicted several cuts on the head of her 6-month-old baby. The defendant was also led by his counsel, PC Onuba, testified in his defense and called no witness. On delivering judgment, Justice Oko said the prosecution had proved its case beyond reasonable doubt. The court then sentenced the defendant to death by hanging for the murder of Chimobi Igwe. Delta State Police Command has apprehended 5 suspects involved in the theft of a luxurious bus owned by the logistics company Youngshall Grove Motors. The suspects, who were paraded at Ekban Police Station in the Ube local government area, were alleged to have plotted to steal and dismantle the vehicle for sale. Speaking during a parade of the suspects in a video posted on X, the state's Public Relations Officer SP Edafe Bright said the suspects exploited insider knowledge about the vehicle's security, while the main suspect contacted an accomplice who drove the vehicle from Aba to Uwari and planned to sell it to scrap dealers. However, the plan was thwarted due to recent warnings issued by the divisional police officer to scrap dealers to avoid purchasing vehicles without proper documentation. Female pre-nursery pupil of a private school in Uja village, Oru Oboro in Ikwano local government area of Abia State, Okoronta Jessica Chooks, has lost her life after she was alleged to have taken a liquid substance while in her school. But father of the late pupil, Okoronta Chooks, is alleging that his daughter died after drinking a harmful liquid substance negligently kept inside the school, while the management of the school is claiming it took several steps to save the life of the child in a clinic after a suspected kerosene drink. Speaking on the sad event, the father of the deceased child said he got a phone call from the headmistress of the school on November 21, 2024, informing him that his child had been taken to a clinic in Nono Oboro after she drank kerosene, adding that he was not even informed before his daughter was taken to the medical facility. The father, who called for justice for his late daughter, said the matter had been reported at Ikwano Divisional Headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force, while the Secretary of Oboro Council of President General's Forum, James Uchebuo, who spoke on the matter, said no harmful substance should be kept in class or office, especially where children are found. Over 20 residents of Okija community in Anambra State have lost their lives in a stampede. The stampede occurred on Saturday during an event for the distribution of rice, and lifeless bodies were found lying on the ground after the incident. Chief Press Secretary to the Anambra Governor, Charles Aburime, has confirmed the incident, adding that the state government is monitoring the situation and would soon release a statement. The incident comes a few days after over 35 people, mostly children, died during a stampede at a carnival in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. Analysts has raised concern over the increasing rate of hunger in Nigeria. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Atlantic Blowout, public policy analyst Samuel Kilsi Adu decried a prevalent high degree of inequality and insufficiency in Nigeria.
The day you check out what were those things that were in the park, you know, children will have to scramble for it. It talks to our situation, to the level of inequality. It talks to the level of poverty, pervasive poverty in the country, and how people, you know, the fact that, and that's why it is easy for people in authority do everything to weaponize poverty, and that is why it is easy for young people to be lured with nearly insignificant things to make them to lead them from what their focus should be into things that are antisocial. That is why these are the reasons, and a lot of people will not understand it, because when you look at this in a place like Ibadan, and you take this situation to a place like Sokoto, you take this situation to a place like Borno, to a place like Katsina, you will understand what we are saying. And that's why it's able for people to be lured into antisocial activities. That's how we had
Mr. Samuel further recommended that government at all levels must make policies geared towards eradicating poverty and also ensures food security in the country in 2025.
Administration must do something to check it. Education, through education, working on eradicating poverty, poverty eradication, for the administration to have food security in place. These are the things. These are the things we have to. These are the things. That is why, you know, I'm surprised that any government will be comfortable. A government is supposed to, every government, at every level, local government, state governments, the federal government, they are supposed to be on their toes all the time. The government cannot relax. For the time that that administration will be in place, you're supposed to be on your toes. Okay. Check out what could be done.
This comes after the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has described the tragic death of children from the Ibadan Christmas party as evidence of a systemic failure in Nigeria. Following the uproar sparked by the death of 35 children during a stampede at a fun fair in Ibadan, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has taken charge of investigation into the tragic incident. The stampede occurred when participants rushed to gain access to the venue of the event, organized by the ex-queen of the Oni of Ife, Prophetess Naomi Silekunola, and an Ibadan-based broadcaster, Oriyomi Hamzat. Apart from the 35 children who lost their lives in the stampede, 6 others who were injured were rushed to hospitals, while the event was initially planned for 5,000 children. But over 7,500 children showed up, worsening the tense situation. Naomi was arrested by the police, reportedly collapsed on Friday, and was immediately rushed to the police hospital at Eleyele for medical treatment. The spokesperson for the Oyo State Police Command, Adewale Osifeso, had in a statement said 8 individuals were arrested in connection with the incident, while the force public relations officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, declined comment. Fire incident has claimed the lives of her husband, his wife, and their grandson in the Orieru Idikan area of Ibadan, Oyo State. The tragedy affected the story building before the general manager of the Oyo State Fire Services Agency, Akinyinka, received a distress call about the fire from one Hassan and immediately deployed personnel to the scene. He said on arrival, his men found the upper floor of a 6-room residential story building engulfed in flames and swiftly swung into action, and the fire was completely extinguished. Akiyinka confirmed that 3 people, a husband, his wife, and their grandson, lost their lives in the fire, while 5 others were rescued alive from the building, while the ground floor and nearby properties were saved from the inferno. The general manager also said a team of policemen led by CSP Olaniya Jibola from Makbo Division and operatives of Amotekun led by Benga Akinyemi from the Northwest Division were on the scene to maintain law and order. Socialist Party of Nigeria says the stampede that occurred in Ibadan was a result of widespread hunger and poverty in the country. A statement signed by its secretary in Oyo State, Ayodeji Adigun in Ibadan, said 35 children have been confirmed dead as a result of a stampede that occurred on Wednesday at a children's party, adding that the struggle for survival caused victims to attend the Christmas charity event and struggle for food. The party said poverty pushed many of the victims to the venue because they were assured of getting something to cushion the effects of the hardship in the country, adding that the unfortunate developments are sad consequences of the excruciating condition of poverty and misery in the midst of plenty, under which mass of the Nigerian working people are forced to live across the country. Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has condemned Nigeria's legal system, describing the case of Segun Olowo-Okere as an example of the harsh inequalities in the country's justice system. Olowo-Okere, sentenced to death for robbery, stealing and conspiracy in Osun State, was just 17 years old in 2010 when he and his accomplice, Morakinyo Sunday, was arrested for breaking into the homes of a police officer and another individual. After years of legal proceedings, Justice Jide Falola of the Osun State High Court sentenced the suspects to death by hanging in 2014. The case sparked widespread debate among Nigerians, prompting Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke to direct the state's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to initiate processes for granting Olowo-Okere a prerogative of mercy, while Peter Obi, via his X-handle @Peter Obi, commended Adeleke's intervention while criticizing the inequalities in the Nigerian judicial system. 3 policemen and a female suspect were killed in a fatal road accident that occurred along the Benin-Ore-Ijebu-Ode Expressway in Ore, the headquarters of Odigbo local government area of Ondo State. Eyewitness said the deceased officers were part of the monitoring units of the State Police Command that left Akure to arrest the suspects when the incident occurred. Adding that the crash happened when a truck lost control while descending the Ore Bridge and rammed into the police vehicle, killing the victims inside their vehicle. Police Public Relations Officer Mrs. Fumilayo Odulami confirmed the incident, while the State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Samuel Ibitoye, said the accident occurred as a result of speeding by the trailer driver, adding that the corpses of the casualties have been delivered at the morgue of a state health facility in Ore. Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak has launched the distribution of 3,000 energy-saving cooking stoves for women and another 193 motorcycles for agricultural extension agents across the states under the ACRESAL Intervention Project. According to the state's coordinating office for ACRESAL, the acronym for Agro-Climatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape is being implemented in Kwara under the Ministries of Environment, Water Resources and Agriculture and Rural Development. And the items are meant to be distributed across the 16 local government areas of the state. A government house statement by the press secretary of Kwara, Akresal, Taiwo Okalawon, on Saturday said at the symbolic distribution of the items in Ilorin, the governor said the initiative seeks to grow the local economy, enhance agricultural productivity, and promote utilization of sustainable energy solutions. Abdulrazak urged stakeholders, including community leaders, local government officials, and NGOs, to sustain their roles for better outputs. Federal High Court in Abuja has arraigned a woman identified as Olamide Thomas, who allegedly threatened Sheyi Tinubu with death on social media. She was arraigned by the Office of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, before Justice Emeka Umite on 3 counts charge. Olamide was arrested on allegations bordering on harassing and threatening Sheyi Tinubu, Egbetoku, and the police public relations officer Muyiwa Adejobi in a viral social media post. In the charge dated and filed on December 18th by the police team of lawyers led by A.A. Egu, Olamide was sued as sole defendant, while Victor Okoye, who appeared for the police, told the court that the matter was fixed for arraignment, adding that he was ready to proceed after the counts were read to the defendant. and she pleaded not guilty to the charge. The defense lawyer T.J. Aundo, SAN, sought to move an oral application on his client's behalf, but the request was turned down, while Justice Wite directed Aundo to file a formal bail application and adjourn the matter until December 30th for commencement of trial. Unspecified number of persons have died following a stampede at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Maitama area of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. The unfortunate incident occurred on a Saturday morning when the church was distributing food items to vulnerable persons, but several persons have been hospitalized. The FCT Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade confirmed the report. Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army in Sector 3 of Operation Wellstroke have apprehended 4 suspected members of the Ambazonia rebel group in Taraba State. The troops also confirmed the recovery of stolen pipelines belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited in the state. A statement issued to journalists on Saturday in Jalingo, the state capital, the acting spokesperson of the brigade, Captain Oni Olubodunde, said the suspects were arrested on December 18, 2024 at a hotel in Takum local government area, following credible intelligence and during preliminary interrogation. The suspects confessed to being involved in arms proliferation, exchanging weapons for cocoa with Nigerian collaborators. 4 mobile phones, according to the statement, were recovered from the suspects, who are now in custody undergoing further investigation. While in a separate operation, troops stationed in the Natilde community of Bantaji district, Hukari local government area, were also said to have intercepted a truck carrying 19 stolen NNPCL pipelines. The recovered pipelines have been handed over to the NSCDC for further investigation and necessary action. Unidentified youths have set fire to the only primary school in the Kandahar area of the Bauchi metropolis, leaving children without a place to learn as schools prepare to reopen in 2025. The incident occurred following a disagreement in the area, while reasons for the altercation remain unclear, and efforts to stop the fire failed while the school was completely razed in the inferno. Meanwhile, residents have expressed sadness over the attack, which has left thousands of children without a place to learn when schools reopen. Reacting to the developments, the state government condemned the act and described the act as barbaric and a setback to education. Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Adamu Mohammed Duguri, promised a full investigation, assuring that those responsible would be punished, and also called for the need for everyone to work together to ensure schools remain safe. You're watching the Global News in Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break to stay with us. per liter, matching the price offered by the Dangote refinery a few days ago. Marketers purchasing from Warri, Gara, Protect and Calabar will, however, pay 917 naira per litre to offtake products. Obele said the price reduction by the national oil firm is seen as a response to the competitive impact of the deregulation, which has led to increased competition in the downstream sector, adding that the move is expected to spark a price war among oil marketers, ultimately benefiting consumers. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Dr. Jumoke Oduwole has expressed the federal government's commitment to the partnership with the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture to tackle challenges facing Nigerian businesses. Oduwole said the federal government is committed to working with NACCIMA at an interactive session with members of the organized private sector, who is outlining plans to ensure that businesses are supported by consistent policies and actionable measures. The minister highlighted her dedication to investment retention and stressed its importance for foreign direct investment, for prioritizing trade facilitation and implementing trade agreements to benefit Nigerian businesses locally and internationally, adding that NACCIMA is a key gateway for Nigerian businesses in terms of market access, as well as the association's role in ensuring compliance with the rules of origin is pivotal. She also commended NACCIMA's commitment to supporting women and youth entrepreneurs and pledged measurable, actionable steps starting in January 2025, stating President Bola Tinubu is committed to prosperity. In response, President Dele Oye expressed confidence in the new partnership, adding that some of the work done is based on mandates, including trade fairs and certificates of origin directly from the ministry, and that's why government must continue to work together to make Nigeria a destination for businesses for direct investment and also to retain investments. Oye urged members to remain optimistic about the opportunities ahead and take advantage and the incentives the minister is going to create to further retain businesses in Nigeria. Well, you're still watching the Global News in Atlantic Television Network, and now we move on to international tidbits. Foreign Minister of Junta ruled Niger has summoned the charged d'affaires at the Nigerian embassy, accusing the neighboring nation of serving as a rare base to destabilize the country. Relations between Nigeria and its northern Sahel neighbor, Niger, have been tense since the military took over in Niamey in 2023 and broke away from the Economic Community of West African States. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, who is currently head of the ECOWAS bloc, had briefly considered a regional military intervention to reinstate ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. However, ties warmed in August when Abuja and Niamey resumed security cooperation that had been put on hold since the coup. In a meeting with Niger's army chief in late August, Nigeria's top military commander had agreed not to destabilize Niger or any of its neighbors. Meanwhile, Niger affirmed its readiness to resume active participation in security cooperation under the multinational joint task force, while the task force involving Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon and Chad has been key in battling jihadist groups active along the border areas of the four countries. Niger's military government is fighting jihadists linked to the Islamic State group Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram in the western Tillaberi region in the southeastern Difa area near Nigeria. And since the 2023 coup, Niger has sought closer ties with its neighbors, which also have military governments and with whom it has forged a strategic confederation called the Alliance of Sahel States. President Joe Biden's administration is taking steps to extend protections for hundreds of thousands of immigrants whose temporary protected status is set to expire early in the president-elect Donald Trump-led administration. The development comes after Trump made several appointments to carry out plans for the massive deportation of illegal immigrants from the U.S., including Rodney S. Scott and Caleb Vitello, to spearhead his proposed overhaul of the U.S. immigration system with a focus on large-scale deportations. Trump had vowed to carry out the largest deportation operation in American history if re-elected for a second term, and has also criticized the Biden administration's decision to allow thousands of radical Islamic terrorists in the U.S. U.S. President Joe Biden has approved $571.3 million in defense assistance for Taiwan as the Democrats prepares to leave office ahead of the January inauguration of Donald Trump. White House said the United States does not officially recognize Taiwan diplomatically, but it is the self-ruled island's strategic ally and largest supplier of weapons, adding that China, which has ramped up political and military pressure on Taiwan in recent years, and has repeatedly called for Washington to cease sending arms and assistance to the island, which it claims as part of its territory. Taiwanese officials say China held its biggest maritime drills in years last week, with around 90 ships deployed from near the southern island of Japan to the South China Sea. The White House said in a brief statement that Biden had authorized the drawing of up to $571.3 million in defense articles and services of the Department of Defense, military education and training to provide assistance to Taiwan. The statement did not provide details of the military assistance package, which comes less than 3 months after a similar package worth $567 million was authorized. Taiwan earlier this week received 38 advanced Abrams battle tanks from the United States, reportedly its first new tanks in 30 years. Pakistani Taliban claimed a brazen overnight raid on an army outpost near the border with Afghanistan on Saturday, which intelligence officials said killed 16 soldiers and critically wounded 5 more. The siege started after midnight and lasted about 2 hours as around 30 militants bound the mountainous outpost from 3 sides after the militants set fire to the wireless communication equipment, documents and other items present at the checkpoint. A second intelligence official also anonymously confirmed the toll of death and wounded in an attack in the Makin area of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, 40 kilometers from the Afghan border. The group claimed to have seized a hoard of military gear, including machine guns and a night vision device, while the Pakistan's military has not issued a statement on the incident. Pakistan has been battling a resurgence of militant violence in its western border regions since the Taliban's 2021 return to power in Afghanistan, while Islamabad accuses Kabul's rulers of failing to root out militants staging attacks on Pakistan from over the border. International Monetary Fund has approved a $1.1 billion disbursement to Ukraine as part of a 4-year loan program aimed at providing budgetary support. The decision comes amid continued Russian aggression and follows the IMF's recent review of the program, which has an overall value of $15.5 billion. A statement by the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, acknowledged the severe economic and social impact of the conflict in Ukraine, praising the country's authorities for maintaining macroeconomic stability through skilled policymaking and external assistance. The latest disbursement brings the total amounts released to Ukraine under the program to $9.8 billion since its inception in March 2023, while Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal expressed gratitude to the IMF's consistent support, stressing its significance during the challenging times. While the statement also said despite ongoing challenges, including attacks on critical energy infrastructure and strained labor markets, Ukraine's economy has demonstrated resilience and the risks remain significant, highlighting the importance of preparedness and contingency planning to address potential economic shocks. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has condemned the terrible, insane car ramming attack at a crowded Christmas market that killed 5 people and injured more than 200. Police arrested a 50-year-old Saudi psychiatry doctor at the scene on Friday next to the battered SUV that had ploughed through the festive crowd, leaving a trail of carnage and blooded casualties. A somber Scholz, dressed in black, visited the attack site on Saturday with national and regional politicians in the eastern city of Magdeburg, where they laid flowers outside the main church. Scholz said at least 40 of the injured were in a condition that people should be worried about them, but gave no details and pledged that Germany would respond with the full force of the law to their attack. But he also called for unity in the country that has been plunged into a heated debate on immigration and security ahead of elections in February. The center-left chancellor said it was important citizens stick together and link arms, and not hatred that determines their coexistence, but the fact that they are a community that takes a common future. As Germany reeled in a shock from an attack that came 8 years after a jihadist strike on a Berlin Christmas market claimed 13 lives, more details emerged about the Saudi man under arrest. Talib Jawad al-Abdul Mohsin had lived in Germany since 2006 and held a permanent residence permit, working in a clinic near Magdeburg. And here now is confirmed sad news in a terror statement posted on their official X account that George Istam was captain from 1963 to 1966 during his 6-year spell at Arsenal. George was also part of the 1966 World Cup winning England squad. Istam, a member of England's World Cup winning squad, died at the age of 88 after spending most of his career at Newcastle, Arsenal and Stoke. Newcastle legend Alan Shearer has predicted the Premier League fixtures that will be played on the weekend before Christmas. The games come after the Carabao Cup quarter-final ties in midweek, and the standout match will be Liverpool's trip to Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. But before then, some key games will be played across stadiums in the UK. And now we bring you entertainment news. Singer Adekunle Gold has narrated how popular his music producer feels influenced Olamide to sign him to the YBNL record label. In a viral video on social media, the singer said his breakthrough came after Phils heard his song Shade and shared it with Olamide. Adekunle also said Phils heard my song Shade and sent it to Olamide. After Olamide heard the song, he called me and signed me to his record label immediately. Lawyer and model from the South region, Doris Oga, has been crowned Miss Nigeria 2024. The model won the 45th Miss Nigeria pageant after defeating 4 other finalists, Anne Enaya, Bukumi Ogunsanya, Diane Paul and Divine Nelson, while 20 semi-finalists were unveiled on Tuesday. The 44th Miss Nigeria, Shatu Garko, crowned Oga as a successor. Expressing her gratitude on her Instagram page, Oga described the victory as a lifelong dream, to be given the opportunity to serve as an example to inspire and empower countless women and girls around the world. Singers Casey and Yemi Alade also thrilled the audience at the event held in Lagos State. Well, that's the size of the package on the global news for tonight. Before we go, let's take a look at a recap of the major stars. Well, we told you that analysts advises Fubara on political crisis. Church food distribution stampede kills many in FCT. You also heard that Tinubu cancels official engagements to mourn stampede victims. We told you that federal government inaugurates e-gates, CNG buses at airports. Taliban kills 16 soldiers in midnight attack. We also told you that former Arsenal captain George Istam is dead. We also told you that Doris Oga wins Miss Nigeria 2024. That's it on the global news for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Victor Peter. Remember, you can follow us on our social media platforms: Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are always the pathways to progress. Many thanks for watching and good night.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.